All right, I figured to make a video since it'd be easier. So that's my 16-foot Wells cargo. One of the things I did is the neck on it, I guess they call it a van neck, where they make it about a foot longer. And that actually lets you, especially if you have a dually, allows for a little tighter turning radius before you'll contact the trailer. And if you can look up there and see the legs on that ladder rack up there, we actually took them apart and cut it and lowered it. So when you look at that ladder rack, it is almost touching the roof, because when you buy a ladder rack, it probably was like 5 or 6 inches taller. And with a trailer, you do not want anything with extra height. You want shit as minimal as possible to avoid your guys or yourself clipping something. So that's my first handy tip: is chop up the ladder racks, lower them down, and screw it back together again. Walk around to the back. Yeah, so I kind of hate my shit getting scratched up. So that's actually a piece of diamond plate I bought at Home Depot, and then just cut out the middle and stuck it on my trailer door. So otherwise, shit always gets scratched up where the handle is, just from guys rubbing their hands on the door, opening and closing it. And if you do get a Wells cargo, the one thing I will tell you is you got to keep a latch on the handle at all times, because that freaking latch will pop open by itself and your damn door will come down driving down the road, which we actually had happen twice. The first time we didn't realize what the hell had happened. Then when it happened the second time, we realized it was the handle, that you have to keep a hasp on that handle so it cannot open by itself. We got lucky, nothing ever happened to the door both times it happened. But that's definitely something you need to be aware of. All right, let's take a look. So my most recent mod, you probably saw me post here, is I added the rubber to the back ramp. Because the problem we had, there was one area probably 6 inches wide and 2 feet long in the ramp where it was unusually slippery. So that rubber is awesome, because now we can wet feet, boogie in and out of the trailer, and no one never trips and eats it. So as we come up into the trailer, hopefully we get enough light in here. 12-foot ladder. We got hooks in the walls, because if you don't hook the ladder to the wall, the problem is you go over bumps and you start belonging the hooks in the walls, and then your ladder rack mounts start to come off the wall. 2 8-footers, same thing. They're strapped against the wall, so they cannot come off. And that's all E-Track stuff on the wall, not for holiday lights. That's actually because I ride dirt bikes, and we go out of state to go ride sometimes in Colorado or New Mexico. Now, something I'm going to show you here. Get it up here. So when you put wreaths on a house, the problem you get is you can't have the ladder right level with the top of the wreath, or it'll smash the shit out of the wreath, and especially if you have a bow on it, which we have bows on almost everything. So the idea I came up with was I just took some Schedule 40, the thicker PVC, and jammed it onto the ladder extensions and created a ladder standoff that has a wider gap. So now you can have your ladder right on top of the wreath, but be off it enough so you can just reach through and work on your wreath and really easily and more quickly mount it and remove it. Because otherwise your ladder's got to be above the wreath, and you're reaching through the ladder to try to get to the wreath. And that's a pain in the ass and a hassle. So we just came up with our own wreath offset mount that makes everything much easier. And then to come around to this side, we got two of those 18-foot or 22-foot blue ladders. Everything has self-leveling feet. And then that is our 24-foot ladder. And basically, we took the sides of the trailer and added plywood, because the particle was really not thick enough to mount something heavy to. So what you can do is take plywood and add it to the wall, then mount to that. And you're creating a more rigid mounting surface so that the screws don't pull out. This is just a Home Depot clamp we put on there. And same thing, extremely important to the heavy ladder, that it is tight against the wall and no movement. These are lighter duty hooks that we use, and this is actually 2 hooks. So this is a different hook, where we're at back here, that literally I just tape together. Maybe I've got it screwed together, and then you use that irrigation tape to put it on there so stuff doesn't scratch. That's 2 hooks combined that I use for the ladder. Same thing over here. Even though these ladders are lighter, same thing. Plywood on the walls, and then mounting hooks to the plywood, so you do not have any issues. And then, because this trailer is a 5.2K axle trailer, and that's also something I recommend, because the problem with their entry level 3.5K axle trailers, the frame is thinner. If you plan on keeping a trailer for a while, the problem we had with the 3.5s with my Pace is where the welding gear mounts to the frame, it creates a stiffer section of frame, and in front of and behind with the welding gear welded to the trailer frame, it cracks. So 5.2K axle trailers actually have a double frame, a much stronger frame, but the problem that creates is it's a taller trailer. So what these platformers are is we take those and just set them outside the trailer, and then use the 8-foot ladders on top of the platform to get the ladder off the top of the trailer. And also beware, enclosed trailers, if you get them custom made, which is the only way I do it, is axles have clocking positions. And all the nice trailers are going to have the not solid axles. It's going to be the, now I'm drawing a blank, I'm trying to think of it, torsion axles. So torsion axles, they have clocking positions. So it's good to make sure you spec your trailer to have the clocking positions for the axles to be in the lowest position possible. So this way your trailer is, like mine, reasonably close to the ground. You're not increasing the height to the roof to get the ladders off. And nowadays, there's also a lot of trailers that have come out with where the roof height is like 4 or 6 inches higher. And you damn sure don't want that, because that just increases your chances of a low limb someplace jacking up your trailer. And I think that pretty much covers it in a nutshell. The only thing I would have to gig Wells Cargo for slightly is you can see that door closer has 1 spring on it. And that is the one plus of my other, Cargo Mate trailer, is they actually did put a dual spring door closer on it. The benefit of the dual spring is if the spring breaks, your branch doesn't come crashing to the ground or smash one of your guys. The second spring is strong enough that it doesn't, allow that to happen. They're actually starting to now come out with some trailers. I haven't owned one myself where they do not use cables. They actually have a spring at the base, like a heat-treated spring at the base of the ramp, kind of like heavy equipment trailers sometimes use. And that is what puts tension on the ramp so it doesn't weigh very much. Because if you ever try to pick up one of those ramps when a spring fails and you have no assist on it, that ramp right there probably weighs like, I don't even know, 200 pounds or something. And it is a giant pain in the ass to pick up. I actually took my kid's car to Lubbock in this trailer where you can drive a car up and down that ramp, and it's built strong enough that it's not a problem. So there is a lot of steel inside that ramp. And I think that's about it. Oh, and I mentioned the rounded roof bows, and that's what I'm talking about. You see how these are rounded? And the benefit of those being rounded is if your guys, you get bump a tree limb or something here or there, a rounded bow is kind of more engineered where it can absorb some impact and not damage the trailer. But when you hit something with a pointy edge on it, that's really not an engineered trailer, and you're way apt to get more damage. The reason you're seeing all these square edge trailers nowadays is trailer manufacturers, I don't know who came out with the idea first, but everybody copied it. It's cheaper to build a square edge trailer. Cheaper, faster, and that is why you see the majority of the trailers on the road now and the lots that are for sale are all square edged. But I've just learned from experience. I drive this trailer. I started letting one of my new foremans drive it some, but for the most part, I'm driving it. If I had employees that I didn't trust, maybe I wouldn't want to spend the money, on a nicer trailer. But this one is like a 2015 or 16 trailer. So it's like 7, 8, 9 years old and still holding up perfectly. You know, I actually had I think right where you probably see that tape broken right there. We had a storm, and on the roof of my building up there, I actually have the skylights covered with stone blocks, and we had a tornado warning, and we had some pretty good winds here. It actually threw a block that big, a paving block, off the freaking roof. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, I guess it's further up. And it friggin' hit the trailer right there. It came off the roof, nailed the trailer, and all it did was put a dent in it. I probably would have been pretty pissed off if that block had gone a few feet further and hit the middle of the roof, because that son of a bitch might have gone right through the roof. So that's a little bit of good luck I had. And that scratch in the middle you see that I touched up with paint, that's bad luck. Unfortunately, that's where my Holiday Light helper that's been helping me for 3 seasons, and I sent him out last year, no issues, and I sent him out a couple days ago, and he didn't even realize that he fucking scratched the middle of my trailer. Or somewhere I think they went through a HOA gate, and he friggin' turned too sharp, and that's why the front of the trailer cleared the gate, and then the middle of it, where the trailer doesn't follow the same path as the truck, friggin' impacted it, and then towards the back it went away because the tail end fished around. So that does bug the shit out of me, since I like nice stuff and not janky shit, but oh well, it is what it is. Sometimes you gotta deal with this kind of shit. So hopefully all that feedback helps. You know, the other thing I did is I took a spare tire, because it's mounted up a little bit higher, and set it so it's literally touching the floor, because it's only a couple of screws that mount that spare tire to the wall, and eventually it does start to oblong the screws in it. And then a recent mod that I did is a trailer ramp that I think I got on Amazon. So if you guys get a flat tire, you just drive the tire in front of or back of the bad one up onto the ramp to lift the trailer off the ground to speed up doing a tire change, instead of having to jack with using a jack to lift up the trailer. Fortunately, I've never had a flat tire with my Holiday Lighting trailer. Well, I just can't see it down there. My regular landscape maintenance trailer is down there, and my guys have, I don't even freaking know. Been in Holiday doing landscape maintenance for years and years, and I bet they've gotten a flat tire, I don't even know, at least 6 or 7 times. So for them, the ramp definitely comes in handy. I got an 18-foot trailer to the left down there because we do landscape maintenance, and then we do top dressing, which is what that 20-foot dump trailer is used for. If you want a off-season business or early spring business that makes a lot of money, dude, top dressing is hard to beat, where I pretty much make $2,000 a day, 5 days a week, $10,000 a week for 2.5, 3 months in the springtime. And I'm usually home by 1 or 2 in the afternoon. So it's not as good as a Holiday Lighting, but it's another niche business where there is not much competition. And if you're willing to spend the money and getting a commercial driver's license, it's, you know, one of the best things I've ever done besides Holiday Lighting.